Welcome to your next video. My name is Professor Thomas Nuara, and today we are going to discuss credibility. Before going forward, let's take a step back and see where we're at. We know when building a keyword outline, we're going to put our title centered in the middle. Then we're going to follow it with what we just covered in the attention getter. Now, the next portion of your outline in your introduction is your credibility, and this is what your outline should look like so far. The first thing that we need to go over is what is credibility. This is the portion of the introduction where you're going to build the trust between you and your audience. When you're delivering your material after getting the attention of your audience, you want them to believe what it is that you're presenting. And in order to do so, you must build the credibility between you and your material. It's important because if your audience doesn't trust the words that you are speaking, are they really going to stay focused and listen to your entire speech? Are they really going to take anything from it? We're all doing these presentations and speeches for a particular reason, whether it be a grade or something for work or something to even just build your future. Don't make it a waste of time. Make sure that your audience trusts you. And I'm going to reiterate the fact that I don't want you to just Google and go. I talked about this in the Works Cited PowerPoint presentation. Don't just put the words that you're looking for into the Google bar, hit enter, and take that first link. I want you to give your credibility some meaning. Focus your words down and find the best sources to build the best credibility with your audience. Now that we know where in the outline the credibility is going to be and what credibility is, we need to cover the requirements of the line itself in the outline. And when delivering a quote, you have to say who said it, where they're from, when they said it, and of course, the most important thing, we need to cover what they said. When you're covering the who, you want to cover the author's name. If you're getting a source from a website, use the company's name where it was taken from. When we're talking about the where, if it's from a newspaper, say that it came from the New York Times. Say that it came from the Daily News. Say that it came from a news reporter on such and such channel. The when, well, that is the time frame when the quote was given. And of course, the what is the actual material, the actual quote. I will suggest, very, very, very important, that you spend the time to paraphrase the quote itself. By doing so, you do not end up reading the entire quote off of your outline and your material sounds much more fluid. If you write down an entire quote in your outline, you're going to spend the time looking down at the outline and reading the quote. Thus, you will be reading and not speaking extemporaneous to us. Now that we have all the information, let's look at the requirements that are needed to complete this. You must give your credibility credibility. When delivering a quote, tell us why we should trust the source that you've chosen. We talked about you being trustworthy. Now, after you've chosen the material, tell us why we should trust the material that you've chosen. Another key point is your pronunciation. Make sure that you are speaking clearly and pronouncing every word correctly. If you're not sure how to pronounce an author's name, pick a pronunciation and go with it. Own it. Show that this is the way it's supposed to sound. Even if it's incorrect, your audience more than likely won't know the difference. Same thing when it comes to knowing your material. Don't use phrases like, you all know, you guys get it, right? No. Sell the delivery. Know the material. And make sure when you're writing it, make sure you write it in a paraphrased format on your outline. I'm going to show you an example how to do that properly on the next slide. Listen to this quote. Baseball is the only field of endeavor where a man can succeed 3 times out of 10 and be considered a good performer. It's a very long quote, but when writing it on a keyword outline, we can deliver it as shown here in the PowerPoint. You can simply say, according to Ted Williams, a former left fielder for the Boston Red Sox, he said in 2006, 3 out of 10 successes in baseball leads to you being a good performer. If you see what I did there, I first gave you the original quote, and then I gave you a paraphrase quote, so I don't end up sitting there reading off of an outline. I also told you who said it, being Ted Williams. I then told you who he was, a former left fielder for the Boston Red Sox, giving credibility to my credibility. Then I told you when it was said, 2006. And then I paraphrased, 3 out of 10 successes equals a good performer. By putting it all together like this and delivering it in your outline, you're going to have a smoother, more fluid speech because you're not reading off of your outline, and you will continue to speak to us in an extemporaneous manner. Thank you for listening. The next one will be on the reason to listen.